Donald Trump and everyone around him keep arguing that he's doing great, he's super healthy. But you wouldn't know it based on how he sounded during his recent interview on Sean Hannity's show.
Last time I had a big problem. They oscillated my mics when I had the one debate. We had 3 debates with Hillary, and on I think the first debate, on the first debate, they oscillated the mic. Well, I want him to vote, but I will say this: absentee is okay, because absentee ballots. Absentee ballots are fine.
He feels better today than he did 20 years ago. That's what he wants you to believe. I mean, obviously he didn't sound so great in that video, and people are concerned because he is now claiming that he's gonna be holding a big White House event over the weekend. I'll get to those details in just a second, but he did hint at wanting to do in-person appearances during this interview with Hannity. Let's hear what he had to say.
Rally on Saturday night. If we have enough time to put it together, but we want to do a rally in Florida, probably in Florida on Saturday night. Might come back and do one in Pennsylvania in the following night, and it's incredible what's going on. I feel so good.
Have you had a test since your diagnosis a week ago?
Well, what we're doing is probably the test will be tomorrow, the actual test, because there's no reason to test all the time, but they found very little infection or virus. If any. I don't know that they found any. I didn't go into it greatly with the doctors. We have these great doctors at Walter Reed.
He previously claimed he was getting tested like 3 times a day. Like, what happened? Like, all of a sudden, like, we're only getting tested all the time. It's because I'm actually really sick and I don't want people to know about it. What a loser. Anyway, also updated report, Trump is now reportedly going to host hundreds at an in-person event on law and order at the White House tomorrow, Saturday, on the South Lawn in conjunction with another event organized by Candace Owens. Nice. But first, I want to bring you in. What do you think about all of this? I mean, obviously, I don't believe him. I don't even really care. I don't. I know that everyone is supposed to pretend like they care. I don't care. I think he's probably sick. I think he's probably gonna continue spreading it to the rest of his goons. And like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna sit here in this chair and pretend like I'm concerned. I'm not. Do whatever you want to do, Trump. I don't care anymore. I just want to talk about the stuff that actually, like. Okay, you talk first because I totally brought you in and started like ranting. Go ahead.
Go on.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm glad. You know how I feel about you and your passion. Listen, I think that Donald Trump is sick. I think that the people that Donald Trump is infecting, he's a public health hazard. He is a walking public health hazard, right? We don't have the data that is specific enough to know what we need to know about coronavirus to be risking our lives. They are risking it all. But it's interesting to hear the people who are defending him and in support of him. And they are going to get what's coming to them if they are willing to risk their health. What's unfortunate is that there are staff members, there are people who are security guards, there are people who are in the Secret Service who are providing a job and don't have, there's no good reason why they should be exposed to a deadly virus. The other thing, when he was shouting out the amazing doctors at Walter Reed, I just want to remind the people out there, Donald Trump does have access to the top healthcare that many of us provide with our tax dollars. Right? That the socialism that you guys hate that's beneficial to him, but you don't have access to those doctors. So you're running around behind this man like a blind cult member, exposing yourself and possibly getting yourself sick, but you won't have access to the things that he has access to because he's rich. And he is using our dollars to see to it that he is fine. But you know what? Your dollars are not going to see that you are fine. And I don't understand why you don't have a problem with that.
He's been given a cocktail of experimental drugs. One of those drugs isn't even available to anyone other than the president, right? That's the Regeneron drug that he claims supposedly cured him. Of course, it's still undergoing clinical trials, and it's kind of a curious thing to say because he received Regeneron, remdesivir, and dexamethasone, which is the steroid that's probably making him feel as like invincible as he's feeling right now. The Regeneron drug that he keeps touting it basically helps him build antibodies to coronavirus. That does not have the side effect of making you feel powerful or invincible, but steroids do. But anyway, my point in bringing up the cocktail of drugs he was given is that you need to have like a controlled study so you can be able to pinpoint the exact drug that helped him recover. And by the way, if he recovered, he claims he's recovered, but we don't know because everyone around him, including his own White House doctor, refuses to answer any questions about whether he's taken a test proving that he's tested negative for coronavirus, right? In fact, one White House spokesperson had an interview on MSNBC, and it was, look, this next video is long, but just get a load of how he tries to evade a very direct question about Donald Trump's test results.
When was the president's last negative test prior to his diagnosis?
So we don't have that, but we're looking at this from a public health perspective.
So on that last negative test, you said you don't have that. You don't know or you don't want to say?
So we don't have that. I don't personally know.
Right. What does that mean? Have you asked, Brian?
Rules.
I think Wednesday you said you're going to look into that.
So Hallie, the president doesn't check all of his HIPAA rights at the door just when he becomes president.
So it's a privacy thing then? The reason why you're not saying the last negative test, HIPAA.
So that is one reason.
Got it. But you just said a couple of minutes ago that you would share the results of his PCR test today if you get it and if that happens. So what's the difference? Why not be more transparent with people about this last negative test? Why not be transparent about that specific, very specific piece of information?
So Hallie, I stated we'll have further updates from the doctors. We've had updates from the doctors every single day.
Nobody's answered this question that I know, have they?
Extremely transparent, but I'm not sure why you're very focused on that question because it's not something. But it's not something that has the public health value.
Did the president at least comply with the Cleveland Clinic debate requirements to be negative tested in the 72 hours prior to that debate? Was that
you are
was the
very
president in
focused on
compliance with
looking
that?
backwards? The president is very interested in getting back out on the
focused on getting an answer to this question, Brian, and I think a lot of people are.
As soon as he is not going to be transmitting the virus, we will have information on that.
Got it. So as for the last debate, the 72-hour requirement to test negative, did the president comply with that? Yes or no?
Hallie, we are looking at how the president can get out there without transmitting the virus, and that's what we're going to do.
That is not the question that is in front of you, Brian. So do you not have an answer? I just want to be clear. I know. Again. Yes or no? Do you have an answer?
Hallie,
and if you don't, just say you don't have an answer.
You've got time to talk to the White House about very important issues. Let's talk about how we want to help people get through this virus with more stimulus that the speaker seems to ignore. She's now talking about the 25th Amendment because she couldn't get the president with impeachment.
That was White House spokesperson Brian Morgenstern, just refusing to answer the question because he knows what all of us know. Donald Trump is still sick, still carries a virus that's contagious, and doesn't care about the lives of others. So he plans on holding a rally tomorrow, holding events in person tomorrow. That's what the story is. Like CNN doesn't have to cover this for 24 hours straight. There are other news stories to talk about. We're covering it because it's something that people want to know about. But I'm done focusing on the Trump circus, when in reality, the real issue here is that now 210,000 Americans are dead from this virus. We still don't have another round of financial stimulus. We still have Americans who are suffering right now, but oh look, Donald Trump, is he sick? Is he not sick? He's sick. Just like he was racist before, people finally realized it like 3.5 years out. Trump is who he is. He's told us a million times. Let's believe him and let's move on. That's how I feel about it. Aida.
Well, they continuously wag the dog, if you will, in this administration. You know, Donald Trump his taxes came to light. He acted a fool at the debate. We didn't talk about the taxes anymore. There is a horrible, state of the state of America right now from all aspects, where we look not just to people outside of this country, but within our country. Dread is amongst us. So many catastrophes happening at one time. And as usual, we are focusing on the megalomaniac in the White House, who constantly is always seeking attention. And it's always, he's like Marsha Brady. It's like Marsha. Like all we do is talk about Donald Trump while people die, while people starve, while people now their stimulus money up. He doesn't want to talk about it again until after the election because he's holding it hostage. Like we're just sitting here talking about him daily. Melania Trump said some horrible stuff. Now we're not talking about the horrible things that she says. All you right-wingers love her. She said F Fox News and F Christmas, but she wanted to fight people when they said happy holidays. We're never talking about the issues anymore because they constantly, the two egomaniacs, the two megalomaniacs, the two people who do not belong in American government, they belong on a reality show, The Real Housewives of Washington, D.C. We are talking about them constantly while Americans continue to starve, die, get evicted, are poor, are broke, their healthcare is hanging in the wind. And what are we talking about all day long? Donald Trump, his poor makeup job, his vapid wife, and this constant foolishness. Poor Barron, that's all I can say.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.